When you give me a book, you give me a dream. Oh, give me a book, please. With a book, don't you see, I can dream. With a book, I can learn many, many things. A book can take me places I've never been. I can explore, soar skies, climb mountains, undertake deep dives. With a book, don't you see, I can dream. When you give me a book, you give me a dream. Not only do books help me dream, I can eventually become and live my dream. Give me a book, please. With a book, don't you see, I can dream. Hello, and welcome to our three-part series, When You Give Me a Book, Part 3. Parents Taking Charge in Education Encourages and Celebrates Reading. I'm your host, Mrs. Dorothy Barron. Part 3 features author Elaine Marlier and her book, Without a Home, Inspiring and Heartfelt Tales of Small Animal Adoptions. About author Elaine Marlier. She has written a series which consists of 3 books titled Without a Home, Inspiring and Heartfelt Tales of 1 book, Dog Adoptions, a 2nd, Cat Adoptions, and Small Animal Adoptions, with each animal's story having been told from the animal's perspective. Both the website's page about author Elaine Marlier and books in her Without a Home series illustrate that she is truly a lover of and caring friend to animals. She works in the animal care field and advocates consideration of the adoption of an animal first versus the purchase of a new animal. She proudly acknowledges that she is mom to 5 adopted animals. If asked to describe author Elaine Marlier's animal adoption series in a few words, those words would be heartwarming stories of unconditional love. Author Marlier's book, Without a Home, Inspiring and Heartfelt Tales of Small Animal Adoptions, features the individual tales of a hamster, chinchilla, rat, bunny, and a ferret. Each small animal has a name and shares its heartwarming story before, during, and after adoption. I now want to share a few things which I feel author Elaine Marlier's animal adoption series can teach and or offer. Author Elaine Marlier's animal adoption series can teach us much about animals and show that we can learn much from them. We learn that not all animals in a shelter are there as a result of abuse or neglect. The stories within can teach us much about love, concern, compassion, responsibility, and commitment. Her series offer heartfelt and heartwarming stories that can be enjoyed by those of all ages, especially children. The stories within may assist young people with building self esteem and confidence because the animals within love unconditionally and are not judgmental. Next, I would like to read an excerpt from author Elaine Marlier's book, Without a Home, Inspiring and Heartfelt Tales of Small Animal Adoptions. She has kindly granted her permission. The title of the story in today's featured book is Harry the Hamster, The Squeaky Wheel by Elaine Marlier. Shall we begin? The hamster community was quite astir as Harry was gently placed into the cage near Butterball. Everyone looked on with curious eyes, including Harry, who carefully watched the hand that had released him slowly disappear. Cautiously, he turned his attention to his new surroundings and to Butterball. "Hi, I'm Butterball." His voice was as inquisitive as his eyes. "Are you my new roommate?" At first, Harry didn't answer. Instead, he let his eyes roam around the cage. He marveled at the non-wire wheel attached to the side of his new home. Remembering the wheel in his old cage, he could clearly see the differences. He also noted the differences in the cage itself. Off in one corner sat a couch, directly next to what appeared to be a television set. He thought the furniture to be quite unique compared to the humble wooden hide-a-home to which he was accustomed. Did you hear my question?" Harry quickly turned to face Butterball. "Gosh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to ignore you. It's just that this place is very different from my home. Hi, I'm Harry." Butterball's eyes showcased an instant sadness for him. Just like all the other new arrivals, he was sure that Harry did not understand what was happening. Hobbling over next to him, Butterball raised his two front feet in the air as if to offer him a formal welcome. "This is your home, Harry. This is your new home, at least for a while." Harry looked at him with confusion. "What do you mean? This isn't my home. I have a home with my family." Butterball lay down next to him. "No, Harry, you don't. Not any longer. That's why you're here. This is your temporary home until you find a new family to live with. You've been placed up for adoption, just like the rest of us." Staring around the room, Harry suddenly noticed all of the eyes that were upon him. Cage after cage, tiny beads of curiosity watched his every movement. Off to his right sat three cages containing dwarf hamsters, and to his left were two cages housing black European hamsters. He glanced back over at Butterball. "What does that mean? Placed up for adoption?" "That means that for whatever reason the family you were with could no longer keep you. Adoption is when someone looking for an animal comes here to the rescue shelter and takes one of us home to live with them instead of buying a new one." "A new one? That makes it sound as if I'm used. Hey, wait a minute. What are you saying? Are you saying I'm not going back home? That I won't see little Ryan anymore?" Butterball hung his head. "No, Harry, you won't. I'm sorry, but you won't be seeing Ryan anymore." Saying nothing, Harry hobbled over to the couch and curled up on top of it. Butterball followed just seconds behind him. "It's going to be okay, Harry. Really, it is. You'll see. This place adopts out a lot of us all the time. You won't have to stay here long. You'll find a new family to live with real soon." "But I don't want a new family. I want to go back to my home with Maggie, Bill, and little Ryan. Why can't I just go back home? I don't want to be here." Butterball could do nothing but sigh. He had seen this depression before. Given his wisdom, one would think his stay at the Critter Heaven Small Animal Rescue had been a long one, but in actuality, he had only been there for a little over 3 weeks. "It'll be okay, little guy. I promise it will. Just give it some time." Harry curled up his lip. Staring at Butterball, he was consumed with disbelief. He slowly closed his eyes and drifted off to sleep, with deep, loving visions of little Ryan taking charge of his dreams. He never heard the conversation happening only 2 feet away. Lulu, one of the striped dwarf hamsters in the next cage, rested her feet on the bars, allowing her body to maintain a standing up position. "Hey, Butterball," she whispered, "who's the new guy?" Butterball watched Harry momentarily, ensuring he was completely asleep before walking to the back of the cage to face Lulu. "That's Harry. He's going to be a tough one to convince. I can already see it. Oh, just give him a few days. When he sees all the traffic coming in and out of here, and when he sees how many of us find new homes, he'll change his perspective for sure. I don't know, Lulu. I see a deeper sadness in him. He may have been one of those who had a family who truly loved him. You know, the kind that took him out of the cage a lot, played with him, and let him run around the house. I don't think he was one of us. Ding-ling-ling! Oh, our time is up. I have read from author Elaine Marlier's book, Without a Home, Inspiring and Heartfelt Tales of Small Animal Adoptions, pages 15 through 18 of Harry the Hamster, the Squeaky Wheel. Parents Taking Charge in Education thanks author Elaine Marlier for having granted us permission to feature her book, and an excerpt from her book, Without a Home, Inspiring and Heartfelt Tales of Small Animal Adoptions. More information about author Marlier and her book featured on today can be found at the website and YouTube channel listed here. As we conclude our 3-part series, we would like to once again thank our featured authors, Lois Lowry, whose book The Giver, and author Elaine Marlier, whose book Without a Home, Inspiring and Heartfelt Tales of Small Animal Adoptions, for having been a part of Parents Taking Charge in Education's 3-part series, When You Give Me a Book, as we encouraged and celebrated reading. A special thanks to you, our audience. When you give me a book, you give me a dream. Oh, give me a book please. With a book, don't you see, I can dream. With a book, I can learn many, many things. A book can take me places I've never been. I can explore, soar skies, climb mountains, and take a deep dives. With a book, don't you see, I can dream. When you give me a book, you give me a dream. Not only do books help me dream, I can eventually become and live my dream. Oh, give me a book please. With a book, don't you see,